Horn salute. That's right. It's a wake and bake, wake and bake, wake and bake, wake and bake. The wake and bake. Good morning. We're still dealing with the heat dome and heat death thing. Today's Wednesday. It's going to be another bad day. It only got down to 78 degrees last night where I live, and it's muggy hot as hell. So good morning. Question straight up. Has the U.S. government any time in its history ever burned out, run off of native people from the land? Well, yeah, look what happened to all the Native Americans, from the Cherokee Trail of Tears to the Navajo Trail of Tears to the battles with the Sioux Indians leading up to Custer's demise at the Little Bighorn. Has the U.S. government ever used fire against its own citizens? Well, yeah, Waco in 93. These are all facts. These are not tinfoil hat theories or stuff. But what I'm getting ready to talk about, let's just, I don't need a channel strike. These are all just speculations. I have a mind that works like a detective. In fact, I think I missed a calling. And it's like putting pieces of a puzzle together. And if you take enough information, you can piece the fucking puzzle together. So why don't we talk about the Sandwich Islands? That's right. Before it got its common name, when the British explorer James Cook found this place, and he was the first person to find this place on the map, a guy named James Cook from Britain, they call it the Sandwich Islands. Now what took James Cook to this island was trying to find a Northwest Passage. And then the first visit was pretty cordial and everything's fine, but he had to come back from the passage, couldn't get through. And on one of these trips, something went terribly wrong. James Cook and 4 Marines were killed by the savage inhabitants of the Sandwich Islands. Then we can fast forward it up into history, and a certain little nation, island nation out there a little farther east, had to fly a bunch of airplanes into the Sandwich Islands and bomb the living fuck out of this place one December 7th, 1941. That's a whole nother subject. So now, here we are getting down the stream of time. We had a TV show called Sandwich Island 5-0 with a little tidal wave and shit. And tourism's building up, development's building up, and billionaires get greedy. Now, I didn't know a lot of this until I started listening. In fact, when the fire first started, I didn't pay much attention to news. I think that shit's gory. But then after a while, I start peeking. Okay, what's going on here? My first thought was, what started the fire on Sandwich Island? Now, a few months ago, Canada just blew up with fires, and if you looked at this space image map that I found here on the YouTube, they had maybe a couple fires up in Quebec. Then all of a sudden, there must have been a dozen down in the southern part of the province just start all at fucking once. I don't know. Half of Canada's on fire right now, too. I don't know. You know, this is just a speculation. I think these dumb, stupid bastards are setting these fires intentionally to cause so much smoke that it will block the sun. Well, yeah, enough smoke will block out the sun and all the harmful damage that thing's doing right now. But it's just a thought. So, for the last couple years, it's like this little thing here, stolen land. That right, it's over a year ago. Okay? There's stories. You can search this back a little bit. There's a land grab. I guess the guy that owns Facebook, I don't want to say no names, I don't need no hassles, but the guy that owns Facebook owns over half the islands. I was sitting there joking with my wife last night. You know that, what is that, Mauna Lea, the big volcano spewing lava. Does he own that, or did he leave that to the government of the little Sandwich Island? Yeah, the Sandwich Island government owns a little bit. The guy that owns Facebook, he owns quite a bit, and what's happening is these billionaires, they're buying up the island, and I got an idea what's going on. Not long ago, they talked about 15-minute cities, where all you had to do was travel 15 minutes from city. Well, what just burnt down is getting ready to become a 15-minute city. And who can do this? Billionaires and developers. That's right. So, I think what had happened is a lot of our billionaire types have gotten off the mainland because it's turned into such a hellhole that they've created. That's right, they created this shit, not us. all the crime and lawlessness. So now they're going out not too far from there. They can get on a private jet and get there in a couple hours. And got a little private getaway from the main island. Now, they've been forcing natives. Again, our country's never ever forced a native person off their land. Like the Sioux, the Crow, the Shawnee, the Pawnee, and on and on and on, even the Potawatomi. Yeah, they never would force a native person off their own fucking homeland now, would they? But now, I never really realized it, but you got tent cities popping up on the islands. Natives living in tents. Natives in food lines. What the fuck? You got all these developers, high rises, condos, all this restaurant, all this high-end, high-dollar shit. But the little guy that's been there for centuries, he's getting squeezed the fuck out. Imagine that. Our government wouldn't do that. And this is what's burning people's asses about all this, is we're spending billions of dollars on Ukraine. We can't even help our own fucking people here. Then, if you listen to some of these stories, all of a sudden the sirens don't sound. And the reasoning for the sirens not sound was stupid, because the guy didn't want to set the sirens up and have people running towards the fire. I live in the fucking Midwest. When we hear a siren, it means one of two things. It's either test day on Wednesday or there's a goddamn storm coming, and you need to run away from the siren and get underground as quick as possible. Another thing I'd heard too, again, this is all on YouTube. This is all on the internet. You can dig up, there's so much information. I wanted to piece it together like a little news story without me talking. I'd be sitting here for hours trying to dig up and piece up a 10-minute video. Ain't worth my fucking time. I don't make no money. It ain't worth my fucking time. There's enough information out here. You can go back a few years and find this. It's been a land grab. So, now we want to develop this place, but we can't get rid of these people. So, how do you get rid of them? A natural disaster. Well, yeah. And there's no proof of wrongdoing on any kind of natural disaster. We can blame it on that high wind knocking down some power lines. Pretty convenient. And shit. The rest is history. So, yeah, these people, the insurance right now aren't even paying the claims. But you got developers coming right behind the insurance company saying, no, saying, well, we'll give you X amount of dollars for that property of yours. When you're desperate and homeless, what are you going to do? Our government spends billions on Ukraine. Lining the pocket of that dirtbag piece of shit Zelensky. I'll call him out by name. He's a fucking dirtbag. Fuck you, Ukraine President Zelensky. Dirtbag crook piece of shit. Lining his pockets, but they want to give these people $700 so they can buy some medicine, maybe a shirt or two at Walmart and be broke. Oh, maybe go to McDonald's and get a crappy meal. Another thing I've heard too was the firefighters, when they're trying to fight the fire, they cut the water. They even interviewed the guy that runs the water. Well, it's a sacred resource, and but it's a sacred resource, you got a guy, but guarding life and property of your island inhabitants is not sacred? What the fuck, guy? What kind of mentality? The fucking mayor of this place didn't even have numbers. They're asking, where are the kids? How many people have died? What's going on? He had no answers. And all they could do is fight back, sidestep, sidestep and ignore the actual question, and it gets a little heated. Now, the man that runs the state, I guess the governor, he had all kinds of numbers, and he was pretty clear this is going to take a while because there's a lot of people missing. In fact, one of the things coming up is, where are the kids? Where's the kids and where's the parents? Where's all these people trying to reconnect? I think I've seen one story so far about a teenager that got turned into a crispy critter. So, boiling all this down to it is murder on a mass industrial scale, and that's kind of hard to wrap my mind around. I can believe. You want to sit here and say, I can't believe that happened, but then again, I can believe it. For developers to get their way, you got to burn out a bunch of fucking people, get rid of them. Oh, and the less people that are alive that own the land, the less payouts. Convenient. They weren't even, from what I'm hearing, they weren't even letting the people in or out. People trying to escape, they sit back. It got so bad in this place, people had to jump into the fucking ocean to get away from it. This is beyond evil. This is beyond anything my imagination can wrap around. I'm going to tell you straight up. If my detective senses are right, you piece all this together, and what I'm hearing and seeing all over the news, and it's all over the YouTube, it's all over the news, it's all over the back news, it's all over Twitter. You can piece this shit together. And here in a few years, we'll see the fruits of this. Oh yeah, brand new resort town, mini Vegas. Oh yeah, the Vegas of Pacific. Resort town for the rich and wealthy. A billionaire's paradise. It used to be a little person like me, we could save up money for a couple of years, take a plane ride, go to the island for a week or so, have a vacation, have fun, come back. That used to be, a pretty big deal for a lot of people, going to Hawaii. But now it's going to be a billionaire's retreat. And I got a feeling they ain't going to want too many little people there. Of course, can you blame them with the way society's going? But again, it's a society they fucking created. It is. Society is what they fucking created and what they molded it into. So what could possibly be the biggest mass murder cover-up in human history? Here of late, anyway. This is barbaric. And I'm going to finish with this. If what I've said today is true, and these people were maliciously driven off their property, so developers can get a hold of it and develop it for billionaires, God's curse is already on this. In fact, I already told the old lady, this is a curse for James Cook. The Hawaiians killed James Cook. Here's the payback karma for killing Mr. Cook. But here's the thing, though. If developers, billionaires, TV personalities, and more, if you fucking did what I can't say here publicly, read between my lines, God's curse is on this. God's curse is on you, and God's curse is on this island. And I guarantee this, the minute they break ground on this thing, and I will prophesy, they're going to have problems. From day one, they will have a problem. Problems after problems after problems after problems, till God eventually destroys this fucking place off the face of the planet. And a few of you billionaires might be with this. I'd be shaking in my boots. You've conditioned us not to believe in a holy God, but it's true. So, drink some more baby blood, get some more of that adrenochrome shit. Rob, steal. Hell, throw ex-presidents in jail now. I mean, that's where we're coming from, but we wouldn't commit mass murder for development now, would we? Again, tinfoil hat time. This is all speculation. I don't want to say too much. Don't need to channel block. So, horn salute. Do some research. Do some thinking. And don't ever, anymore after today think that government's on your side. No, there's an agenda to get rid of us. It's called population control. That's right, population control. It's not a new idea either. Horn salute. Take care, man. We wouldn't steal land, would we?